Hey, look, it's our favorite bold man. Asmongold shouts out Nick Fuentes. Oh boy. What do we got here? Well, we see a lady wearing a keffiyeh, right? Well, obviously, for Asmongold, he has to hate that, right? Because Palestinians are an inferior culture, right?
The youth turnout. This is
They're working, and also I think a lot of young people don't have as much investment in the stock market, so the tariffs don't seem to be as much of a tangible evil to them because they don't get to observe the negative effects. So
Oh, they'll observe the negative effects, all right. I already talked about this before. The consequences of the tariffs are that for every good that the US is going to be importing, there's going to be a tax on it, effectively. That's what tariffs are. Tariffs are an import tax because who is paying primarily the import on those products that the US has to ship in? Because guess what? Here's the thing with tariffs, they can be effective, but if you just do blanket tariffs with nothing else, just without any industrial policy or other not necessarily fiscal policy, but typically industrial manufacturing based or anything behind those tariffs, it's effectively just a tax on consumers. Because since I've explained this before, company makes a product, they have to import certain intermediary other foreign manufactured goods in order to be able to create said product. They have to pay the import, the tariff on those things that are coming in. Your chips, the metals, the raw material, broadly whatever. Doesn't matter. It could be anything. Because again, the US is not in a position in order to be able to have a sort of base, sort of simplified manufacturing economy. It has not been for the past, I don't know, like 40 years at this point, ever since that shit all got hollowed out because of the trends with globalization of the economy, because of tax cuts for the rich, because of all the different free trade agreements that exist. There's a lot of reasons, a lot of multivariate, multifaceted reasons. I've talked about this before, but the U.S. transitioned from a manufacturing economy to a more technical slash service economy, but they didn't really do a good job at it. And for whatever reason, every politician is a fucking idiot and has to constantly talk about the Rust Belt is the most important thing. We have to bring back American manufacturing. It's like, but like you people have transitioned away from those types of jobs because guess what? The future marches onward, and well, progress happens. Just how it is, and the economy fucking changes. Things fucking change. Nothing can always stay the same. That's just kind of how it is when we're talking about the economy. And no, I don't think he's saying that pro-Palestine protesters are elites. He's trying to basically say like Gen Zers are not going out to protest because they don't care about the stock market. I don't think that's the reasoning, by the way. I personally, not really. I think a lot of them are probably either tired or they like he even said, he probably is correct here. They're too busy like working at a job. But the protests didn't happen during a weekday. They happened during a weekend. Right? They mostly took place during a Saturday. So they could go out if they wanted to. Maybe they were working. Who knows? But to make a sort of blanket statement like he is well, inaccurate.
So, big surprise that a bunch of old people that have capital are mad about their capital gains going down.
Most old people are pretty poor. Like they like he thinks that do old people have like a bunch of capital investment like sitting aside with like what do you mean? They have like a home, that's an asset. That's not capital. Like what are you talking about?
Who could have ever guessed that? And also, a lot of young people are moving away from this too, because they see this and they're like, well, this is my future, and I don't want to sign it away to like some illegal immigrant. I don't want to.
Oh, they're taking my gerb. They're taking my gerb. That's so funny. Jesus fucking Christ. Do you know, like, yeah, dude, because, like, all the Gen Zers are going out and clamoring for, like, rudimentary base manufacturing and agricultural fucking positions. What are you talking about? Because that's what Trump thinks he's bringing back with all these tariffs, by the way. I mean, just you wait until those prices start to skyrocket, because they will. Like, I've already explained how the tariffs work, but again, this guy's a fucking idiot and he doesn't understand how tariffs work.
Sign it away to Israel. You know, like,
Sign
how
it away
many
to
times
Israel.
have you guys seen the picture of like somebody saying, "I'm not signing up for the draft to go fight for Israel"?
That's really funny that, okay, he'll talk about how, like, Palestinians are an inferior culture, glory to Israel, and bombing the shit out of, like, Hamas and shit like that. But he'll also talk about, like, you know, man, I don't want to fight for Israel or whatever the fuck. I don't want to fight in any of their wars or whatever. It's just like, pick a side, man. America's already pretty committed in fighting Israel's wars for itself. Why do you think they keep providing arms to the Israelis? So they can fight their wars for them. Like, that's how that works. That's the point of the colonial outpost of Israel. It's not because it's the only democracy in the Middle East. That's a bunch of bullshit. It's for the purpose of Israel is a meant to be a colonial outpost for the military industrial complex to test new technologies. That's its point. But yeah, sure. People are gonna go on the ground. Like, what does he think of, like, Trump proposing, like, an occupation of Gaza? Because he's proposed that. He's been proposing it again in a recent press conference that he had with Benjamin Netanyahu. He has been. Because with all the Trump Gaza real estate stuff, how do you think he's going to maintain that? Well, he has to do an occupation. Simply put, right? Like, there's no other way to sort of maintain that stuff. Like, there would have to be American boots on the ground. And I've said this before. I do think that, you know, were it Trump in office instead of Biden when October 7th happened, I guarantee you there would have been American boots on the ground. Guaranteed. It would have happened. So, like, he's kind of speaking out of both sides of his mouth here. He likes Israel, but he also hates Israel. It's nonsense.
A lot of people think that. You know who's been popping off a lot on TikTok? Nick.
Nick.
You know the Nick I'm talking about.
Oh. Man, and people got mad when I called this fucking dipshit a Nazi. Guys, it turns... Who would have thought that the dude who defended the Enabling Act of 1933 through the fucking justification that it was Germans reclaiming Germany, which is the exact same excuse that neo-Nazis and Nazis used in order to justify the Enabling Act of 1933. But, well, you know... A guy, he's like a totally average fucking dude. Like, what do you mean? Sure, Nick is a Nazi, but you can't just be one by association. Yeah. Has talked about wanting to wipe out the fucking Palestinians and shit. Like, so why has Nick Fuentes been popping off on TikTok? Why is that?
Everybody knows.
Oh, do they? What do they know? Wonder what his chat's saying. Is chat saying anything sussy? Nicolas Cage. There's a guy saying based Fuentes. Nazi Nick. Nick F. Pepe laugh. I don't know. Asmongold, why are you shouting out Nick Fuentes, buddy? What are you doing here?
A lot of people have been talking about him.
Really? Like what, Asmongold? What
Not
have they been
NMP.
saying? I mean, some people have saying like my goat. You know, I'll be honest. If you're just sitting there saying like, man, Nick Fuentes has been popping off, that must say something about whatever algorithm you might be looking at. Why is Nick Fuentes popping off on TikTok? Big question. Why is that? Ever ask yourself these questions? Well, there's Asmongold, I guess giving a shout out to the Nazi, the so in the fucking closet Nazi, because you know he had some fun with the fucking dude, the Nazi cat boy who shoves bad dragon dildos up his ass. Nazi, because remember, you know, who remembers the little date that Nick Fuentes once had with God, what the fuck is that dude's name? That dude is also like a fucking complete psychopath. He was real happy when he was going out with the Nazi cat boy. But well, you know, it should say something, you know. It should really say something that if you're talking about the pop off of Nick Fuentes, there might be something wrong with your TikTok algorithm. I'm not gonna say anything, but again, this is the same dude who defended the use of the 1933 Enabling Act by the Nazi Party by saying it was Germans retaking Germany. Let's just say, Asmongold, you might be going down some real bad paths. That's all I gotta say for you, buddy. That's all I got.